Hello all and welcome to Tail Inferno. My name is Charlotte and here we are today talking about crucial sites and critical moments. But firstly, I should probably provide some context. Those are linguistic theories or thoughts or suggestions to do with the use of language and how we, I suppose, react in situations and how, I suppose, thinking back on that whole conversation about communicative competency and language games and things like that, this kind of looks at how certain times in our lives can sometimes put that into a perspective for us where we feel like we're in such a significant moment that we need to be able to present ourselves in a really important way, in a certain way, to be able to communicate properly, to be able to get our point across. Which obviously I'm doing brilliantly right now. So, I'm a great example of someone in a critical moment and trying to communicate this idea to you guys. Oh, goodness me. I should probably mention that I will be referring to a guy called Christopher Candlin during this, as he is the resource that I have learned this from. So there's a particular text that I was provided in one of my courses where when we were talking about crucial sites and critical moments, we referred to it a lot. The details of that will be in the description as well if you're interested in reading it yourself. Yeah. Anyway, I should probably just give you a bit of a brief description, or I suppose the definition of what these two theories are. So as Candlin puts them, if I get my handy dandy notebook out, a crucial site is context of communication, in part defined physically, in part by topic, in part by participation, in part by perception, which participants identify as especially salient. So that part came from page 9, as I will put, as you would have seen in the illusion of the text on the screen. And basically what that means is that a crucial site is when you were in a particular place physically, where you are participating, and in doing that you are perceiving that participation and that area that you're in as a very important place to be in. So if you were to have, like, I suppose, a map, like a blueprint, there you go, that's the word I'm going for. If you had a blueprint of the school and, like, say, you had a classroom where, like, some kind of linguistics lecture was in. Some of the students might not think of that as a crucial site for themselves. They might just be there because they were getting the credit. So they're just, hanging out. So if you had to put, like, red as like a hot spot for a crucial site and blue as like a cold spot, that would be blue. But then you could say have a teacher's office or a tutor's office where a student is going to that office to, say, ask for an extension or talk to them about something that's very important to them, or try and get the grade up or whatever. That suddenly blinks red. It's off the charts. It's red. It's a crucial site because that is a place that is important to them at the time. And when they are physically there, they're having to actually, I suppose, present themselves in a certain way to be able to gain that extension or be able to get their grade up by talking to their tutor about it. So that's what a crucial site is. A critical moment is something that is found in a crucial site, and basically, I suppose they're kind of moments that are one and the same, well, not one and the same. Crucial sites and critical moments are different, but they, a critical moment wouldn't exist without a crucial site. And a critical moment, again, referring to the handy dandy book, a critical moment is where the communicative competence of the participants is at a premium and at its greatest moment of challenge. Now, that would probably, as I mentioned, it's links to communicative competency and language games in the sense that you need to be able to show that you have competence in communicating what you want to be talking about, that you have that authority in the subject that you're talking about. Now, when you're in a crucial site, may it be like you're at a doctor's office and you have some form of illness and you don't know what it is, or you found like a lump somewhere or a bump somewhere, or you're in pain in a certain spot and it only hurts when you do one certain thing and it's concerning. The doctor's office is a crucial site. You don't know what you're going to be diagnosed with, if there's anything really bad or not. But then the critical moment itself, and actually I suppose wielding your communication in that sense and actually talking to the doctor, you got to be able to communicate to them competently enough for them to understand what the problem is. it's all well and good to be in a crucial site and just waltzing on into an area and just being like, well, I know that this is important and I'm freaking out about something. But if you're unable to actually communicate that properly during that critical moment, then you might not actually get to the point that you need to be at. If you fail on that front, then you might not get the point across, which might be happening right now. I might not be communicating very well to you guys, which is definitely a possibility. And, you know, if you have questions and you're confused about half the stuff that I've said, you know, leave some comments and I'll answer as best as I can, or, you know, whatever. I'll try better next time, I promise. I suppose in that sense we start thinking, well, okay, how does that relate to storytelling? And you might have already figured that out. I mean, when we're talking about putting characters into moments where they have to make big decisions, or they're like or something that they do is going to actually result in something big, or, you know, maybe it's a fantasy story and someone has to go talk to a king or a knight or someone in the upper class about something bad that's happening elsewhere. Wherever they are, may it be in front of the king's throne or whatever, you know, that's their crucial site, and in that critical moment they have to communicate that well to get the point across, you know. And I suppose in the sense when you're reading these moments, because, you know, it's all about when the blood pumps and when you're sitting on the edge of your seat going, oh my god, it's happening, oh my goodness, like, why did they say that? Where, like, you know, they gotta get this right, you know, this is absolutely essential. And in that moment as well, I suppose you kind of are transported to that moment. You're transported to the crucial site. If it's done effectively, that is. If a moment like this isn't really written well, and I suppose it kind of gets you into that rabbit hole of, like, is the book itself, like you know, is it communicating at a competent level to be able to get you into that position? But that's a whole other story. That's a whole other thing to talk about, and I'm sure we can all argue about it later. But yeah, when you're sitting there and you're reading a book, or you're lying there reading a book, whatever you do, if you're doing cartwheels while reading a book, you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh my gosh, they've got to get this right, they've got to, you know, say this, they've got to, you know, win this person over, they've got to make sure that they get the guy, they've got to make sure that they've got to get this person to confess to something, or whatever it is. You're sitting there, you're thinking, oh my gosh, how, like, you start thinking, well, how is that person feeling? And, you know, if it's written well, again, you kind of start mimicking the emotions that the person's feeling. And I suppose as writers and storytellers ourselves, we've got to think, well, how do we enhance that experience? And I suppose having that idea of what, like, knowing what a crucial site is and what a critical moment is a really good starting point. You've got to think, well, when have I ever been in a position where I have been so nervous about something, or I know that I've had to get to a certain goal by using language, only language. And you can probably think, well, that crucial site would have been me in this position, and the critical moment was me trying to communicate to get to this point, to achieve this particular goal. And so you start thinking, well, how do I communicate that onto a page, and how do I get people to think that? And it's really about drawing upon your own experiences in that sense. Yeah, I suppose it's a really cool way to think about writing these intense moments in books. Anyway, that's what a crucial site and a critical moment is. That was a very long-winded way of explaining it. I think when you start learning about these theories and you start really actually considering what that means in real life, you kind of get this perception of, well, now I overtly know that, what does that actually mean? And then you start thinking, well, I can apply that to the books that I write, or the movie scripts that I write, or whatever it is that you do. May it be just be openly telling stories verbally to other people. You just think, well, this is how I get people engaged. And yeah, I think it's really interesting. I don't know about you guys, but I do. You probably can tell that with all my rambling about everything else. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there before I keep rambling on. If you have any questions about crucial sites and critical moments, just leave a comment in the comment sections. If you're on YouTube, if you're here on Tail Inferno watching this, you can leave a comment below as well. Make sure to like and subscribe this video if you found it interesting. And, you know, hopefully other videos that I make in the future will also be interesting as well. So if you subscribe, you get to see all of them, and that's very exciting for everybody involved. Make sure to like and follow on all of Tail Inferno's social media, so that's Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Just search Tail Inferno, and you'll find them. And yeah, as I said, I hope you enjoy it. Remember to ignite the story, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.